If I asked you today, why are Iran and the United States such bitter enemies? Your answer would probably be the nuclear program, the Islamic Revolution, sanctions, and some people might even mention Donald Trump. But not a single one of those answers is correct. In fact, at that time, there wasn't even a country called Iran.
1900. Persia. The world looked completely different from today. Britain had become the largest empire in the world. Russia had a strong influence to the north. The Ottoman Empire dominated the Middle East to the west. America was still in its growing phase. Persia stood surrounded by all these powerful nations, but nobody cared about this country. Its economy was weak. People struggled to survive. But from a geopolitical point of view, a country's importance depends more on its location than on its economy or military. At that time, India was the backbone of Britain's economy.
Everything depended on India. India was one of the greatest places in the world for trade and prosperity. If any nation wanted to reach India, it had to pass through Persia. That is why Persia became a strategically important country. Most of Russia's trade came to a halt during the winter because many of its ports froze. Russia needed a warm water port that could give it access to the south. That is why Persia was equally important to Russia. Britain wanted to expand northward, but Persia stood right in the middle without doing anything. Persia had become a giant chessboard trapped between two powerful empires. Britain wanted Persia under its influence. Russia wanted exactly the same thing. A few years later, the people of Persia began to grow angry because foreign powers had more influence over their country than they did themselves. That anger would play a major role in Iranian politics. Year 1901. Persia was going through a financial crisis. The country didn't even have enough money for development and infrastructure. A few months later, a British businessman arrived at the Persian royal palace. His name was William Knox D'Arcy. He came with a proposal. The proposal asked for permission to explore Persia in search of natural resources. If valuable resources were discovered, both sides would benefit. But if nothing was found, D'Arcy would bear most of the financial loss. Persia would lose very little. Because at that time, nobody even knew whether Persia had any valuable natural resources beneath its land. So the Persian government agreed to sign the agreement. D'Arcy Concession. According to this agreement, William Knox D'Arcy received the exclusive right to explore and extract natural resources across almost the entire country of Persia for the next 60 years. Almost the entire country? In return, Persia received an advance payment. It would also receive a fixed payment every year. And if oil was discovered, Persia would receive a small share of the future profits. And D'Arcy was taking a huge financial risk. But even after several years, no oil had been discovered.
Drilling operations continued across different locations. Experienced experts and talented engineers were brought in. But despite all those efforts, the result was still zero. People slowly began to lose confidence in the project. Some even said D'Arcy had made the worst decision of his life. The investors also started pulling out. We can't invest any more money. Shut this project down. 7 years passed. Even D'Arcy began to doubt himself. He believed he had probably made the biggest mistake of his life. Exhausted and frustrated, one day he made a decision. I'll give it one last try. If it doesn't work, I'll shut the project down forever. He stopped every drilling operation across Persia, except one, Masjid Suleiman. This was the very first place where drilling had begun years earlier. It was the final week before the project was scheduled to close forever. One morning, D'Arcy visited the site as usual. The drilling was still going on. Then suddenly, the ground exploded. A massive black fountain shot high into the sky. At first glance, it looked like water. But it wasn't water. It was oil. Everyone at the site erupted in celebration. Some laughed, some hugged each other, and some even broke down in tears. After years of failures, countless sleepless nights, and endless criticism, their hard work had finally paid off. But a few people immediately realized this was much bigger than oil. From this moment on, Persia would become the center of global attention. This single discovery would shape the future of Persia, its people, and generations yet to come. And soon, that prediction began to come true. Britain and the world's great powers turned their eyes toward Persia.